Hey y'all, it's Allie with the Spiegel Mom Scraps design team. I'm super excited about this layout I have to share with you guys today. So we're still working with watercolors and shaker pockets. And I'm actually working with the Shimmerz Creameez. They're just like watercolors. And I'm making these little sunflowers. So later on in the video, I'll show you start to finish how I made the sunflowers. But I also had this idea to do a a tidal shaker, which it doesn't actually end up shaking, but I really loved the Sunflower Fields mix. And my first idea was to sew on the sequins in the shape of a sunflower like I've done before. But this mix has these amazing gold sequins that don't actually have a hole in them, and I definitely didn't want to leave those out of the layout. So I decided to do this tidal shaker pocket instead, where you get a really fun feel for the entire mix. So I used my Cameo to cut out the word sunflower in a really fun scripty font, and now I am taping it to my layout and also to a page protector. And then I'm going to go ahead and pierce entirely around the title. So then I have holes set in my layout, but also onto this page protector that's going to be my shaker. I've probably mentioned this before, but I love shakers, and you don't have to have a fuse tool to make a shaker pocket. I love shakers because you can get the entire mix in there. When you dot the sequins around your layout, it looks fabulous. But sometimes the mixes that Jody creates are just so gorgeous. I want more than just a couple here and there. Okay, so now that all of my holes are pierced, I'm going to go ahead and remove the page protector piece and then cut around the entire word. So I tried to get fairly close to the holes without cutting into the holes, but also because I'm stitching around this, it will cover up the excess with the thread. And once I've got it completely cut out, it fits right back into place, and I can take my washi tape and secure it down. So I'm going to secure the top part and leave the bottom completely open, and I'm going to go through and stitch just the bottom of the word first, so then I can stuff all my sequins in there. And I have a couple of tips for sewing on your layout. You'll see that little ladybug there is actually a lotion bar, and it's about 90% beeswax with a little bit of coconut oil in it. They're homemade lotion bars, but any sort of beeswax or wax will work to run your thread through. It keeps you from getting a ton of snags and getting your thread knotted up. That can be the most frustrating part when you're sewing, and this is just a really easy way to keep it from doing that, and it makes stitching go a lot faster if you prime your thread first. So I promise not to make you watch me sew this entire thing, but I did want to try to get as much of it in frame and on camera as possible to show you exactly how I do this, which was a lot harder than I thought it would be. But I'm just going, through and doing a back stitch, and it's super simple. A lot of people are scared to sew on their layouts, but it's such a fun technique, and it looks so cool when you're finished. So once I get the entire bottom of the word finished, I'm going to go ahead and remove the tape a little at a time and start shoving my sequins in. So I've kind of created this pocket where the bottom of the pocket is completely closed, so I can put my sequins in and they won't fall through. And I'm just going to go letter by letter, and I start obviously with the S, and I shove my sequins down in, and I've got a dull tool that I can actually move the sequins around underneath the plastic and push them exactly where I want to go. And then when I've got the entire S filled with sequins, I can go back through and sew the top part of my title. So I'm not going to lie, this is super time consuming, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with spending a lot of time on one layout, but if you're not, this might not be the technique for you to try, because it does take a while and it takes a little bit of patience to kind of get all the sequins where you want them to be, sew a letter, get all the sequins where you want to be, sew another letter. So maybe I should have started with a shorter word. So my whole premise behind this layout really is just the being inspired by the sunflower fields mix and sunflowers in general. They're my favorite, and I've seen the quotes about advice from a sunflower in so many different ways, and I kind of wanted to make that my own and give advice to my daughter. So my pictures really have nothing to do with sunflowers, but it is truly inspired by sunflowers. So really quick, I'm going to walk through the process of creating the sunflowers, and I'm using a stencil, and I just went ahead and used a pencil to trace out the stencil, and then I painted it in, and then I'm going to use my black pen to do kind of a sketchy, messy outline, which is something I really enjoy doing. And then I use some Paste-eez and kind of make the center of that sunflower have more texture. And then I'm going to go through and add sequins to the middle of each one as well, because sunflowers have a lot of texture where all those seedy parts are in the middle. So once I glue down all these sequins, it is time to finish off my title. And like I said earlier, I'm inspired by the advice from a sunflower quotes. And I've got my 4 pictures of my daughter just looking really cool before we go to the playground. And I'm going to add in a lot more for my title. And I like to put this all on my protector for my mat for my cutting machine. And then that way I can just peel off. And if you get your little tiny letter stickers close enough together where they kind of overlap, sometimes you can peel them off all in one piece, which is super satisfying. And once I get all of my title on here, my layout is completely finished. And I love the way this came out. It's so fun, and I hope you guys enjoyed my process. Thank you so much for watching, and remember to save money at the Spiegel Mom Scrap Shop with the code AllieG15. Bye, y'all.